Chapter 1: The Arrival. The air is cold. The sun is low. The White House gates open slowly. A long black car drives forward and stops. Cameras click and journalists lean in with notebooks and microphones ready. Then the car door opens. President Volodymyr Zelenskyy steps out. He does not wear a suit. He wears his usual clothes, a military jacket, dark pants, and sturdy boots. Reporters are surprised. They expected a suit that shows respect and tradition. But he is here as a wartime president. His country is fighting. Inside the White House, officials watch him. Some shake their heads. Some whisper, "He did not wear a suit." Trump hears this news and he does not like it. The tall double doors swing open and Zelenskyy steps inside. The walls shine with gold frames. Bright lights fill the room. This is the center of American power. Then slow, steady footsteps are heard as a door at the end of the hall opens. Donald J. Trump appears. He walks forward with his blue tie swaying, his shoes shining, and his smile tight. Cameras capture every moment. Zelenskyy moves first and extends his hand. Trump shakes it firmly, perhaps too firmly, as if testing strength. Then Trump speaks in a light voice, "Nice outfit, Volodymyr." Very presidential. Some people chuckle and raise their eyebrows. Zelenskyy meets Trump's eyes and replies calmly, "Mr. President, my country is at war." The room grows quiet. Advisors, aides, and diplomats listen as the space feels smaller and tighter. Trump nods once, makes a quick gesture with his hand and says, "All right, let's get started." The two men walk down the hall, and the meeting room and the world wait for the hard conversation to begin. Chapter 2: The Suit Controversy. The room is quiet and the air feels heavy. Many eyes move from Trump to Zelenskyy and back. People wonder if Trump is joking or testing him. Zelenskyy does not react. He sits still. He does not smile or frown. He has seen hard things. He has been in burning cities and visited soldiers on the front lines. In this room, a suit is a strong symbol. But Zelenskyy is not worried about a suit. He says simply, "I dress like this when my soldiers fight for their lives." Trump leans back in his chair and taps his fingers on the table. He says, "People say a suit shows respect. It shows a little effort, but maybe I am old-fashioned." Some in the room shift in their seats or smile, but Zelenskyy stays calm and replies, "My country is at war. I dress as a fighter." Then an assistant coughs and papers shuffle. Trump tilts his head and asks, "So, Volodymyr, what exactly do you need?" And the real conversation begins. Zelenskyy explains, "We need air defense, weapons, and long-range missiles. Without them, we cannot win." Trump then asks, "How long will this war last?" Zelenskyy answers simply, "As long as it takes." Trump leans forward and speaks in a quiet tone, "I like winners. I like people who know when to make a deal and think." Zelenskyy replies, "Fighting for freedom is thinking. We do not have time to stop." Trump then asks if there is ever a time when it is wiser to talk with Russia instead of fighting. The question makes the room even tenser. Zelensky's fingers curl slightly and his heart beats faster, but his face remains calm. Chapter 3. The Opening Statements. The cameras are gone and the doors are closed. Only the leaders and their advisors are in the room. Every face is serious. Every chair is filled. Trump sits back with his fingers tapping slowly on the table. He asks, "Tell me, Volodymyr, what is your plan?" Zelensky is ready. He says, "We will fight until Ukraine is free." Trump then asks, "How long do you expect the world to pay for this war?" Zelensky answers, "We are not asking, we are fighting." The room is silent as some advisors exchange glances. Trump smiles and says, "Some say you are tough. Some say you are stubborn. We will see." He leans forward and adds, "Wars do not go on forever. At some point, you must sit down, talk, and make a deal." Zelensky stands firm and says, "We will not negotiate with an invader." The heavy silence shows that this fight is very serious. Chapter 4. The Aid Debate. The room feels even colder now. All eyes are on Trump and Zelensky as they talk about money, weapons, and aid. Trump leans forward with his elbows on the table and asks bluntly, "Why should the US keep paying? What is in it for us?" His voice is strong and clear. Zelensky looks him in the eye and replies, "Freedom, security, and stability." He adds, "Ukraine is fighting not only for itself, but for democracy around the world." Trump nods and says, "But many people want America to focus on itself." Zelensky speaks firmly, "If America stops, Russia will win. And when Russia wins, the war will not stop. It will spread to other nations." Trump gestures with his hand and asks, "Then what do you want, Volodymyr?" Zelensky answers, "More air defense, more long-range weapons. We must keep fighting." Trump then asks, "And what does America get from this?" Zelensky replies, "A safer world and a future where dictators do not win." Trump smiles and says, "That sounds nice. But let us talk business." The tension grows as they discuss the high cost of war and the fate of many nations. Chapter 5. Russia and the Unfinished War. The conversation grows deeper as they now talk about war and the threat of Russia. Trump sits back and studies Zelensky carefully. Then he says, "Maybe it is time to negotiate. Maybe it is time to end the war." But Zelensky stands firm. He says, "We do not negotiate with invaders. A deal with Russia is not peace, it is surrender." The room falls silent. Trump tilts his head and asks, "So you say there is no way out?" Zelensky shakes his head and says, "There is only victory. We will fight as long as it takes." Trump muses, "You are really all in, huh?" And Zelensky nods. The silence in the room tells everyone that this war will not end with an easy deal. Chapter 6. The Press Conference That Never Happened. Outside, the afternoon sun shines on the White House lawn. A podium stands ready and microphones are set up. Reporters adjust their cameras. The world waits for a joint statement. Inside the room, the mood is tense. Trump stands near a long wooden table with his arms crossed. Zelensky sits with his hands on the armrests. An advisor leans in and whispers, "Cancel it." The press secretary nods. There will be no joint statement. There will be no photos of unity. Zelensky watches with a tight jaw and says, "This is a mistake." Trump grins and replies, "Sometimes silence speaks louder than words." He tells an aide to say that something has come up, and the press event ends. Zelensky stands slowly and walks to the door. His voice is firm when he says, "If you do not stand with us, history will remember." Trump, in a light tone, says, "Good luck," and then turns and walks away. Zelensky steps into his car. The door shuts and the engine hums as the car moves away from the White House, from the empty podium, and from the unspoken words. Outside, cameras flash and reporters shout questions that go unanswered. Chapter 7: The Abrupt Ending. The meeting ends suddenly with no agreements and no warm goodbyes. It ends sharply and without closure. Trump pushes back his chair while his advisers gather documents, check messages, and whisper among themselves. They look at Zelensky, who rises calmly. He does not rush. He does not hesitate. He knew the meeting would be hard and that there were no guarantees. As he reaches the door, Trump speaks with a chuckle. "Next time, wear the suit." Zelensky stops, turns, and says firmly, "Next time, remember who is really fighting." Trump tilts his head with a hint of amusement, but does not reply. Zelensky then walks down the long, bright hallway with his team following him. Outside, reporters wait with cameras flashing and microphones raised. The podium stands empty with no handshake for the cameras and no joint statement of unity. Many questions fly from the reporters, but there are no answers. Zelensky steps into his car, the door closes, the engine hums, and the car drives away while the world watches and the memory of the meeting lingers. Chapter 8: The World Reacts. News spreads quickly. Bold headlines appear on newspapers, and TV reports speak with urgency. Online, people start debates and share many memes of the meeting. They show the handshake, the smirk, and the sharp words before Zelensky left. Some say that Zelensky is brave and strong because he did not change who he is. They call this strength and leadership. Others say that Trump is powerful because he controlled the moment. They call this power and dominance. Historians, political experts, and even comedians talk about the suit incident. A small moment now has deep meaning. A year later, both leaders move on, but people still debate what really happened. They ask if it was about respect, about image, or about something deeper. The memory of that meeting still shapes discussions about war, leadership, and power. Chapter 9: Ukraine's Response. The plane lands in Kiev. The journey is over, but the work begins immediately. Outside, the city is quiet and cold. Snowflakes drift under a dark sky. The war does not pause for meetings or speeches. Zelensky steps off the plane and his team follows him. Some people look at their phones, others stay silent. The tension from Washington still lingers in the air. In the presidential office, lights burn late into the night as reports come in and messages arrive from allies. Some messages show support, others are cautious. The meeting with Trump sends ripples around the world. Soon Zelensky speaks to his people. He says, "We stand strong." With or without support, Ukraine fights. We do not choose war. We fight because we have no choice. We will not bow. We will not break. His words echo in halls, in homes, and on the front lines. Families watch on TV. A mother holds her child's hand. A soldier listens to his radio. They all hear his voice and feel his resolve. Chapter 10. Trump's next move. Back at the White House, the atmosphere is busy and tense. Phones ring and doors open and close. Advisors gather in small groups and talk in hushed voices about the meeting with Zelenskyy. Some say the matter is settled, others are not sure. Trump sits behind his desk with his arms on the chair and listens carefully as some advisors suggest cutting aid further, while others warn of the risks. After a heated discussion, Trump picks up his phone and sends a short, strong message. Strong leaders make strong deals. Weak ones, well, they wear whatever they want. This message spreads quickly on the internet. News anchors repeat his words and analysts debate their meaning. Memes with pictures of Zelenskyy in his military jacket and Trump in his suit fill social media. In Kiev, Zelenskyy sees the message but does not react. He knows that the war is real. Words on a screen cannot change the fight. His advisors bring him updates while European leaders speak. Uncertainty grows behind closed doors at the White House, and the world waits for the next move. Chapter 11. The Legacy of a Suit. Months pass and new headlines fill the news. Wars continue and elections come and go, but some moments remain in history. People still talk about the meeting and the suit incident. They remember the handshake, the smirk, and the words exchanged at the door. Some say that Zelenskyy won because he did not change who he is. They call that strength and leadership. Others say that Trump won because he controlled the moment. They call that power and dominance. A year later, both leaders move on. But the memory of that meeting still sparks debate. For Ukraine, the war goes on. Every decision is hard, and every soldier matters. The world still watches Ukraine, even if sometimes the urgency fades. For Trump, the incident remains a symbol that he sometimes mentions at rallies. Historians and experts study it. One small outfit and one small moment changed everything. The war is not over. The debates are not over. The future is uncertain. But history does not forget.